order of the Madison Select Board on Monday, June 24, 2024, at 6:30 p.m. Please join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please let the record show all selectmen are present. Town manager, if you would do C for us, please.
Yes, sir. We need to elect a board chair and a vice chair. Are there any nominations for chair?
Nominate Al.
Second.
Okay,
Recording in progress.
okay, thank you. Second by Mr. Moody. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Seeing none, declare it a vote by acclamation. All in favor? Okay. And, oh, any opposed? All right, that's a 4-1. 4-1, one abstain.
All right, thank you very much, and this will be my last one, so hopefully it'll be a good year. The vice chair, we'd look for nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Sally.
Second.
Sally. Sorry.
Sally Dwyer. Second. All right, we have a motion and a second to elect Sally Dwyer as vice chair. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? And we'll do it one more time. Any other nominations? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, letter D, consent agenda, warrants number 40, 529, 24, number 41, 529, 24, number 42, 611, 24, payroll register number 22, 530, 24, number 23, 66, 24, number 24, 613, 24, and number 25, 620, 24. Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the AP warrants and payroll register as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the payroll register and the AP warrant as read. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Letter E, acceptance of the meeting minutes of the board meeting on May 28th, 2024.
Make a motion to accept minutes of May 28th meeting.
No second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the meeting minutes of May 28th, 2024. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries.
All abstained.
Okay, we have one abstention, sorry. All right, and we need to approve the minutes for the select board meeting on April 8th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for April 8th, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the meeting minutes of April 8th, 2024. All those in favor? All right, we have 3 in favor and we have 2 abstentions, Mr. Moody. Okay, old business, report on interest earned since switching to the new insured cash sweep account.
Yes. I just wanted to let you all know that in 1 month alone, in the month of May, we made over $7,000 in interest. So that was a huge jump in our interest amount. So that has been, it's proving to be a very good decision.
Hopefully we can keep going.
It will.
All right, number 2, review progress of planning board on the new ordinance, proposed chapter 170 for the controlled substance facilities in safe zones. This is town manager, would you like to? Everybody
Yes.
has a copy, correct?
The planning board met 2 weeks ago, and they discussed the safe zone as well as the proposed facilities, controlled substance facilities ordinance. The proposal right now, as it stands, is going to go back to the planning board again tomorrow night. The amendments so far include adding Yogi Bear's Jellystone Park, all churches and religious organizations, and all daycare and childcare facilities to the safe zone list, as well as adding additional definitions to the chapter 170 as it's proposed.
Do we have that here?
You should,
People have that.
I don't think I brought extra copies of that, I'm sorry. Do you want me to, I can read it if you want.
No. So just so everybody knows, the planning board meets tomorrow night at 6:30 right here. Okay, so if anybody has, they'll take, I believe they take comments from people and things like that, and probably they'll have this available so people can read it. So it's in their hands right now,
Yes.
and so they will have, I believe after they come to a conclusion, they will have a public hearing on the matter. And once it comes back to us, it will be discussed again, and then a public hearing on that matter again.
That's
Yes,
correct.
Mr. Moody?
The only question I had is why did they restrict this area to be from the end of 148 to the Skowhegan line?
It's also supposed to include, and I thought that they had fixed that, the business park. Yeah.
No.
So we need to make sure that gets corrected, that it includes the Madison Business Park. Yeah.
It says it shall only be located on US 201 between White Schoolhouse Road and Skowhegan boundary.
Right.
Why is it limited to that short area of this town, that small area?
Because it's the most open space area, that there is the least amount of housing, residential property. That's my understanding. Again, it was not supposed to be exclusively 201. It was supposed to be 201 from the corner of White Schoolhouse Road to the Skowhegan Town line,
Right.
as well as 148 and the business park.
That isn't what it stipulates.
I know, and that's why tomorrow we want to make sure that it comes back to that. You have a pen to write that down?
Yes, I do.
So we will get that fixed, because it needs to include the business park as a potential site.
Does it, I've scanned through this. Does this also have any stipulations as far as any buildings that are with an adequate space between the next resident?
It does not address residential properties at all, except to the extent that they may fall within the safe zone for childcare facilities or even home churches.
But what I'm asking is, any of these outlying areas that this says that they can go into, if there is a residence there, can they, the setback is only 15 feet in town. Can they set up shop in a building 15 feet from another resident?
That would be up to the planning board to come up with a solution to that. I don't know the answer to that, so we
But
can.
they can't stop it if there's not a restriction.
Right, so if you want to have a restriction, we need to take that to the planning board and ask them to include that.
But, I know we don't want it in downtown. That's very obvious. But at the same time, I don't want to have any of our residents think that, seeing that it's going out of town, that it's gonna be next to their house. See what I'm trying to say?
So a setback distance from the closest residential property.
There's gotta be, there's gotta be a good distance here. Either that or their property value is not gonna be worth beans.
We can bring it to them and discuss it. And ultimately, it's up to them, but then again, it's gonna be open to public hearing once they
Okay.
come up with their,
I was just
Draft.
wondering if this had been entertained at all.
not to
Or
my
considered.
knowledge. the residential per proximity.
If I may, did you bring any of the maps for the buffers, the safe zones?
I did.
For them?
Well, figure out what you want.
No, the one from Katie Cog.
Wait a minute, I do have that one somewhere here. This one?
That'd be the one. This map of the town shows 500, 750, and 1,000 foot marked from locations that were churches and
Existing safe zone.
existing safe zones. Sorry. A good portion of downtown and the Madison Village is within that safe zone.
I understand all of that part of it, Jeff. What I'm saying is that out where you live, if they was to set up business as your next door neighbor, would you be comfortable with that?
Oh, hell no.
Is there anything to prevent that? Oh, hell no.
I'll call myself. Mr. Moody, what I believe is asking is not the safe zone. I mean, the safe zones don't really apply here because this is a legal substance, right? This is legally done. This isn't somebody selling illegal drugs, right? That doesn't mean taking my dog and pony show to the corner and selling illegal drugs. It is a legal substance, so I don't know where the safe zones really fit in here, but have we asked at all about saying no altogether? I mean, was the planning board bring that up at all?
That wasn't brought up to the planning board. If you want that brought up, then
No, it was brought up. I mentioned the public outcry from the town meeting, and it was pretty much a consensus that that was not a realistic solution and it wasn't gonna happen.
So I agree with Mr. Moody that we need to ask them to put some sort of buffer in. I don't know what the buffer is, but
Okay.
we need to look in some sort of, must be some other town has some sort of buffer in there somewhere that we
Okay.
can look at to see. Because that, exactly, I mean, that's the answer we're getting from somebody, and it's gonna be all over town. We're gonna go from place to place, and everybody's gonna say no.
well, I know Anson and Solon are already working on their ordinances
To say no to everything.
to say no.
Alright. And I would say we might bring that back to the planning board again. I mean, I will not be there tomorrow night, but if anybody wants to go, we bring that back to them and craft something to give people some choice.
Madam Secretary, since that meeting, there's been a lot of people saying that they don't want it at all. I personally think that these people need help. But I've been having a lot of people come back to me due to some of the words that our town manager said, how it's coming to Madison really did irritate some folks.
Yep.
So they're saying, well, we don't want it here at all. If that's a plausibility, I think that should be looked at as well. But I personally, my feelings about it is we gotta figure out how to get these people help. But
I think we ask them to look at that and see if there's something they can craft to do that. I mean, obviously, at the end, we all have a vote.
Sure.
So we can shoot down, you can shoot down the vote, but there's no sense of shoot down the ordinance, but there's no sense of doing that if we can get something that we want. Yes, sir.
So, my understanding is, are we saying that from the Skowhegan line up to White Schoolhouse Road and down 148 is,
Well, 140, down 148 is not on here. I
No.
believe the town manager.
but that's a safe zone?
That's what they, no.
No,
No,
That's where they're
what we
proposing
have.
that they would be allowed to do it?
yeah,
So they couldn't go out towards Lakewood?
no,
No.
Okay.
no, just that stretch.
I was just
From-
asking because
from-
Yogi was considered a safe zone, so I was wondering why Sandy Beach and the other
Yeah.
campgrounds wouldn't
Yeah.
be, but if it's not even an option, I understand.
Yeah,
Okay, so that give you some direction?
It gives me some direction. I will tell you that if we cannot grant them some kind of assurance that we're, not, if we go back to them and say, the town says no altogether, they're going to proceed with buying Taylors and not look elsewhere. That's a conversation that I've already had.
they've got us between a rock and a hard place right now.
Oh,
There's no question
good
about
size,
it.
we got a good size rock in it.
And we've gotta come up with something of a solution with the planning board to have
Right.
areas that they can go to,
Yep.
not to eliminate, because if not, like the town manager says, we're gonna have it down here at the corner. So, push is coming to shove, and we're gonna have to bite the bullet somewhere. Either that, or we're gonna live with it down at the corner.
Yeah, it's serious.
Yeah, I'd like to make a suggestion that the planning board is gonna ultimately be making some sort of decision on this. So they could be tasked with this, that zone that's already approved here, from Skowhegan line to what? Now it's down to the business park? Is that included as well?
Yes.
That will be, okay. So then, they would say this is approved with the exception of property within, we'll say 1,000 feet of existing residents. That would solve that problem, not putting it near anybody, but it would give them someplace they know they could go legally.
There's no land like that on 148.
There's no land for that?
Well, I don't know that, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I
how
haven't
many
studied the
feet.
map.
You're giving an example, and that's.
But there are some pretty good gaps there. I'm not saying how many feet, I'm saying they would have to study the map and find out what kind of spaces might be available, not putting them next door to an existing home.
Right.
That kind of language could be very legal, and I don't think it could be challenged.
Yep. So, we get, I don't know if 1,000 feet is the answer, but a certain footage between people's property.
Yes.
Yes.
They did stipulate that they don't wanna build, they want something that's already built.
Right.
That would be the big issue, because the areas that fit that aren't for sale.
But I think we have to come up with some rules, and then we'll see where it takes us. We're not gonna have the magic answer for everybody that comes in is gonna have if we do this, then they're gonna do this, and they're gonna do this, and I think we just have to come up with some rules, and I think that is the right track if we're gonna come up with that, if we're not gonna say no altogether.
Yep. I think that we do have to have some kind of a compromise. It can't be all one way or all the other way. It's not
The only
realistic.
thing we gotta remember is that once we go to town meeting to have a vote on the ordinance, if the vote is down,
Yep.
we gotta come up with something else. So we gotta really work at that
Yep.
to get that to a consensus, basically. Yes, sir.
Couldn't we suggest something like on going towards Norge Walk, like Father Raw? There's a whole bunch of space over there.
We can next, but that's another town.
Well, no, on the Madison side, not on the Norge Walk
It's a
side.
very
What's
short length of road.
Yeah. the only-
It is?
go from-
You're in Norwich
Sand
Walk
pit.
quite soon, where
Top
the
of the-
Catholic cemetery is. Once you go beyond that, you're in Norwich.
Oh shoot, I thought it was
used to hunt
after
there
Father
all
Raw.
the time ago.
No, it's at the bottom of the hill, just about
Dang, okay.
on the way out. All right, okay, so we have some information that they can bring, and we'll talk about it at our next meeting?
Yes.
Or just to get an update of that? Thank you. All right, number 3, tax acquired properties since 2018.
Okay. We have one on, there's two sorry, one that has not been redeemed this year, right? We had 3 that were foreclosed on this year, 2 of them have been redeemed, there's 1 left. And it's nowhere near getting ready to be sold. Same with 20 Park Street. The one on from oh, Cheyenne, help me read this. 232 Bagley Road.
Yep.
Okay. The taxes on that were $5,000, the selling price was $20,000. So there's a $15,000 amount that is potentially owed to the previous owners or will be remitted to the state as unclaimed. So that's a liability of about $15,000. There's 60 Maple Street, where the taxes that were owed were $3,000. The property was not sold, it was a quit claim that was issued to the son of the deceased after the taxes were paid in full. So I guess that one's a 0. And then you have 1162 Lakewood Road that had a $3,000 tax liability, and the selling price was $12,000. So there's another $9,000 of liability that's gonna hit the town. So we're at about $24,000. In the general ledger account for foreclosed properties, there's a balance of $13,000. So there's a shortfall of about $11,000 that if these people, or when these people come forward, that we would have to come up with.
Right. Just so everybody knows, we didn't do anything wrong.
No, it
But
was a
the
change in
rules,
law.
the laws have changed, and before we could keep everything over what it cost to replace the taxes, pay the liens on the water, and pay the not water, but sewer, and pay the water off, and pay the electric off, and whatever was left with the town. Well, the law changed, and we have to go back to 2018 and figure out exactly how many of these we had and how much we owe. So that's what we're in the process of doing right now. Yes, Ryan?
So I helped Denise with this request, and I went through all of them, and I made sure that the numbers that Denise just provided were subtracting the water and sewer, all fees, everything that was owed to the town, so those amounts are correct. I took out quit claims that were sold back to the previous owner, because those wouldn't count because the town didn't profit off of them. So considering that from 2018 to present, we have 2 properties that the town currently owns, is holding on to, and then 2 that we made profit off of, really shows the town that we're not trying to profit off of the foreclosures.
Right.
So I think we'll do good when we submit this request.
All right. Anything, you don't need anything from us?
No.
Just keep pushing forward, okay?
We'll share that information with the
Just
gentleman.
remember, when we go tax acquire a property, sometimes they're in pretty rough shape. We have to we've sent in a whole highway crew before, with gowns and masks and hazmat type stuff on to clean places up, so it does take some expense. Jeff's shaking his head at me back there, because he was part of that at one time. Tires, we've, taken up 64, 70 tires out of the back of a place, so there is some expense to it.
Yes.
John, you got a question?
Yeah, is there any properties that the town owns now that's available to purchase?
The only one that we own right now, I believe, is on Park Street.
There's 20 Park Street
20 Park Street.
and the other one that was just recently foreclosed on this spring, which is on Naomi Avenue.
There's no physical address, it's just land too.
And how much was the town asking for 20 Park Street?
It was 27.5 at one point, but
27.5.
there's been more bills that have come in, so that would be even higher now.
I believe there's a electric bill,
There's, yeah, the
electric bill,
27,
a water bill,
Yeah, I knew
maybe,
that.
maybe even a sewer bill that hasn't been paid.
So what are you guys gonna do with it? Nobody's gonna buy 27.5, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So obviously, you were gonna keep accumulating.
Well, no, once the town takes it over, I don't believe that they charge any more for the water, I
well,
don't believe.
they were, and I've had conversations with the water and sewer people to make sure that those bills stop.
Right now, I don't know. But probably that's something we'll take up also, because there's really no sense of, we're not gonna make any money on it, so we might as well. We gotta get our money back, though. Because we gotta get the taxes paid, we gotta get the water paid, that's just a,
Well, the price we were asking was for the tear down of the old building,
Yeah.
fill it in.
yeah. All right, thank you very much. All right, number 4, quit claim deeds. On the back, it says A, corrected quit claim deed for 11 Mountain View Road for Carol, Wayne W. Carroll.
Yes, so the previous quitclaim deed was in the estate of, or in Beth's name, and Ms. Estes corrected us and said it had to be in the name of the property owner, so the town clerk has corrected that. And then the second one
Let's do the
is,
first one
the
first.
first one, okay.
All right, so looking for a motion to,
I don't know that we need to make a motion, because we already made the motion.
and we corrected it,
We made the motion for Carol, for
Wayne Carroll.
Wayne Carroll,
Okay.
and we accepted that, but when we went to sign the quitclaim deed, I noticed it was made out to somebody else.
All right, so if we've done it,
So
that's
the
fine.
estate, so I think we already made that, we just need to sign that one.
All right,
All right, so now, letter B, we have a quitclaim deed for 32 Hayden Street for Roland Allen III.
yes, so he
Everything's paid
came,
up?
I'm sorry?
Everything's paid?
Yes, everything's paid, the check is cleared, and all the interest and taxes and liens and everything has been paid, and the property has been redeemed.
Okay, looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the quitclaim deed for Roland Elaine III for 32 Hayden Street.
I'll second that.
All right, with a motion and a second to award a quitclaim deed to Roland Allen III at 32 Hayden Street. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, items of communication, we have our living well reports. Anything else shining on that? Everything's good?
Everything's good.
Okay. All right, number 2, town manager report on expenses and budget currently, and this is week 51,
Yes, and
coming to a close.
we are coming to a close. In fact, I wanted to let you know that we are going to be closing the town office at noon on Friday, so that the staff can get all of the books closed out. So they'll keep working, but we'll close to the public at noon. I also wanted to, let's see, I thought I had brought it with me. Let you know that we're at about 96% on revenues. We're not as high on revenues as expenses. There's a few things that are still unpaid, uncollected. There's like $330,000 from the homestead exemption that hasn't come in yet. $4,000 on the veterans exemption that hasn't come in. There's some revenues that are running above, such as some of the excise tax and fish and wildlife things.
Oh, yeah, any conversation with the state, if those are coming, or those are,
Not yet, I will be calling them tomorrow to find out what's happening with those.
and is it other towns also, or?
I don't know. I will be finding out. And then main revenue sharing was a little higher than what they had projected, so
Well, that's always good.
that's good. Another thing I wanted to mention was, we've gotten 4 applications for the rec director position. And so we're looking at July 2nd to start doing some interviews. Is the 2nd and 3rd, if there's anybody that's interested, Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, that wants to sit in. I know Chairman Venziano, you want to sit in on them. And there are a couple other people that want to sit in on them, but
I don't necessarily have to, so if anybody else has a burning desire to, I mean, Sean, do you have any, you gonna do it in the evening?
I will do them when it's convenient for the people that want to be participating, so.
Have any interest?
Yeah.
Okay, Kathy, you?
Well, I do, but I just don't know what my schedule is, and if you.
Thought it was retirement, Kathy. If you want me to, Sally, do you have any interest?
I would love to sit in if you need me, but I don't wanna overwhelm someone with.
We can only have 2, so
Right.
you can have
Yeah,
3.
So if you and Sean are
Sure.
available, that's,
All
I'm
right.
good with that.
Okay. All right. And then I wanted, yeah, that's it for that one.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, number 3. Maine DOT notification for resurfacing of the Madison Bridge. And I believe it says the spring, summer, fall of 2025, so they got themselves quite a range there.
They're thinking it's gonna take them 4 to 5 months to do this. Mike, correct me if I get any of this wrong. So they're replacing the wearing surface, just the decking, not the structure underneath, unless there is something that is significantly impaired that needs to be repaired. They want to prolong the life of the bridge. They're going to use light bar systems to, like they've got right now in Solon, that they had in Canaan before. They are not convinced at this point that they're going to put in, that they need to put in a secondary bridge, that they're going to take the bridge that's down there between Madison and Anson and cut it down to 1 lane. So they'll work on 1 lane and they'll have traffic on 1 lane. I need to get them some details on the mill, because the mill may be gearing up to have additional staff at that time. They want to start in the spring, and they think it's going to last 4 to 5 months. Can you talk about the finger joint that was,
They're just gonna fix the finger joints on the bridge. And then they're gonna put a layer of hot top over the top.
what is the finger joint though? I still don't
So
understand.
the bridge comes together.
Oh, is that where,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Thank you.
They're just gonna adjust them so they're straight.
And then they were talking about the possibility of the lights having transducers for emergency vehicles, so that if there's something that comes up that the fire department in Anson needs to get across the bridge, that they can control the light. They're thinking that that's gonna be about $1,200 per vehicle. And we're not sure who's gonna pick that up, but they think that the towns will be picking that up.
The other one is the ambulance, correct?
The
That's where
ambulance,
it's coming
right.
from, So we need to notify them of what's
Yes,
going on.
yeah, and I think Tammy Murray was taking care of that notification. Let's see, and did I miss anything, Mike? Okay, they said they have about over 8,000 average daily traffic going both ways.
How many?
8,160. Both ways on average day.
So they're gonna control that with
Well, no, they're gonna have a series of light bars. There's gonna be one on the Anson north side, Anson south side. Then there's gonna be one by the mill. There's gonna be one probably at the end of Pine Street. And,
Wow.
you know,
You can see that in North Anson, they've already doing the North Anson one-way traffic on their bridge,
yeah.
going over to
And they have
Caravan.
lights.
If you wanna see what it looks like, there's one already near us.
Yeah.
Go take a look.
Thank you.
Yeah, and in Solon
Yeah,
also.
right. I just did
All
it
right,
today.
thank you very much.
Is
All right, letter H, new business, ratification of the contract with Somerset County Sheriff's Office. We have it in our hands, we've looked at it, looking for a motion to approve. I'm sorry, Mr. Moody.
Denise, has there been any changes in this contract compared to the last one?
Yes. So in this contract, they are not referencing any previous amounts that were held or returned in a contingency fund. So in the previous years, if they had money that was left over, they set it aside in contingency fund. This year, they've dropped the price, not referenced any contingency fund, and instead of asking for over 600,000, they're asking for 576,000. And then the other change was last year, no, I'm sorry, 2 years ago, they changed from the town providing the patrol units to the sheriff's department providing the patrol units. So that's consistent this year, that the sheriff's department is going to continue to provide the vehicles. They're not asking us to provide vehicles.
Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that, oh, I'm sorry, there's a question.
Yes, Jeff?
So what, tell me what happened, how did they end up with our vehicles? Am I understanding this right, that we gave them the vehicles to use, and now they're not gonna charge us to use them? I guess
The
I'm kinda lost there.
vehicles that went to them in 2015,
The ones that we bought and paid for,
those vehicles were assimilated into the fleet for the Somerset County, and they were used in trade-ins for newer vehicles. Some of those newer vehicles were assigned to the Madison division until the change in the contract a couple of years ago, when there's no longer a Madison division, it's just a rotating crew, so that anybody can be assigned to Madison, not just 3 specific people. So they're part of the Somerset County Sheriff's Office fleet.
so we got no return in money for trading that off?
My understanding is that each year amount was taken off the bill to get money for those.
Right.
I don't have the exact number.
So the trade-in value was, and we'd have to get somebody from the Somerset County Finance Office to confirm this, but based on the contracts, the trade-in value was attributed to that, what did I call it, the undesignated fund that they were drawing from,
Right. We use that undesignated fund
contingency fund.
to pay down the price a little bit each year.
Yeah. So for instance, let me go back to the year that they started assuming responsibility for bringing for providing the vehicles. They dropped the price of the contract from $625,000, they dropped it by $145,000. So,
For all 3 vehicles?
no, for the price of the contract for the law enforcement services.
Yeah.
So that is most likely a reflection of the 3 vehicles being assumed into their fleet.
So who authorized this? Was this a town vote, was this a selectmen's vote, or how did that
I
actually happen?
think by approving the contract, it was a selectmen's vote.
Yes, it would have been by approval of the contract.
So that's,
So, I'm confused, because they obviously have not traded all 3 vehicles in yet. So how did they come up with this dollar amount? I mean, because I don't understand why we don't have answers for that stuff. I just don't get it. It just seems like it should have been clear to say, this is the dollar amount for this vehicle, each vehicle, because there was 3 of them, right? So it just seems like there should have been a dollar amount to assign to those vehicles. And like in some of the contracts, they came down I wasn't on the board then, but it feels like they came down in some of how much the contract was because they couldn't provide us with enough people. Now, we know from what the sheriff has said, it's $120,000 per person, right? So,
So we'll have to add the SRO.
Per vehicle. 120,000 was to fully,
a person, the vehicle, everything was 120,000, because that's what he keeps coming up with for that dollar amount. But, so where did these vehicles, how did they get, I don't know, I'm missing how we were credited for those vehicles. It just doesn't make sense to me for that. I don't know why we don't know those dollar amounts.
I will dig deeper.
Mr. Mooney, it really doesn't make much difference because all the past contracts were signed. This town agreed with whatever was done with the sheriff's department. And I don't know why we need to vote on it. It's already been voted on.
No, it's a new one. It's a different one. That's an old one.
That's the 23-24
Okay.
contract. The 24-25 contract is the one that needs to be approved.
So we don't have the county or the sheriff, anybody's signature?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're gonna be the first ones to sign this contract?
That's my understanding from Tim.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we're looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for July 1st.
Second.
4/2/25.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the contract with the sheriff's office from July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025. Any other questions? And we will look into that a little deeper with the county and find out exactly.
Well, it's gonna be too late, they already signed the contract.
Right?
I think that was taken in previous years.
That was in previous years.
That's previous
Now, what
years.
we're gonna do about it.
Well, you're gonna sign one right now, are you?
Right, but this doesn't include that, though they're already there. That's already happened, correct?
These contracts are actually contracts, right? They're
Yep.
actually written with rules and stuff.
Oh,
on
yeah.
them. So obviously, vehicles, I don't know the story behind all of it, but I'm getting a little privy to it. The vehicles were purchased and then they just vanished, right? That's what it
But why-
sounds
No, they didn't
It
vanish.
didn't just vanish,
So-
no.
so
By
contracts-
reducing the amount we paid to the Somerset County, they took over the vehicles.
Right, but contracts are not made in assumptions, they're black and white, written clearly.
Right.
What they are, so one would think those vehicles would be noted somewhere saying, well, we're reducing this price or that price. The vehicles obviously just can't vanish, and no contracts assumed. That's just what I want to say.
Yep. All right, any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All right, opposed? Abstain? All right. 3-1 and 1 abstention. Okay, number 2, clerk's certification of sufficiency in the recall petition. Diane?
So there was a petitioners committee formed of 5 members who are registered voters in our community. And they have signed the affidavit that they created, and they have reached the sufficient amount of signatures needed for there to be a recall election on Michael Gordon.
Okay. All right, so, working with Cheyenne, the town manager has come up with this timeline that is outlined here on the recall election timeline for the road commissioner. Obviously, today is June 24th. The town clerk presents the certification of petitions to the select board. July 8th, the select board has 10 municipal days from the notification to set a date for re-election, for recall election, okay, which is going to be on July 8th. July 9. Oh, the second one here is,
So the July 8th is the date that the board will set the date of the election
okay,
within 45 to 60 days.
okay,
The day after you decide that date, the town clerk will open up the nomination papers for anybody that wants to run for
okay.
road commissioner.
All right, and then by July 23rd, the candidates will return the nomination papers to the town clerk for validation. 24th to 29th, the town clerk prepares ballots, and July 30 to August 29th is going to be the absentee ballot voting. The 26th, we'll have a public hearing if it is requested by the road commissioner at the select board meeting, and then the election recall will be on the 4th or 5th of 2024 of September, when we get, once we set that on July 8th. All right, so it kind of outlines what we're going to do, how we're going to go about it, and we'll see where it takes us.
So I mean, we don't have any authority to say no, I mean, we have to set the date.
Yeah,
right?
we've been
have to
given,
set-
yeah,
we've been
according
given
with the,
notice, We've been given notice. we have
according
set
to the
date.
policy, which we have,
Right,
Chapter
which is
120,
right.
recall elected officials, and it outlines what we have to do, and this is what Cheyenne went by in forming everything she needed to put into place. Okay?
But you do not have to set that election date tonight. You have 10 business days.
Right, so July 8th, we'll set that date. Yes, sir.
What was the reason behind the recall? What was sufficient enough for certification?
I believe you'd have to ask the people who put the papers out. There's a committee of 5 people that, I believe, Cheyenne, you can correct me if I'm wrong, 5 people who are involved.
Wouldn't you, as a board of selectmen, know what the reasons are? Or
I do.
can anybody, if they don't like somebody, can they just put this out, or do you have to have a reason for this?
I can read a script from the affidavit that the
Can you read that?
petitioners committee brought towards me. So one of the paragraphs says, and this is what you're asking, the petitioners committee strongly believes that Michael Gordon as road commissioner has displayed the lack of ability in areas of planning, budgeting, personnel management, safety, and general understanding of how to oversee the highway department.
I couldn't quite hear all of that, but what was the reason for that again, you said?
Lack of ability in areas of planning, budgeting, personnel management, safety, and general understanding of how to oversee a highway department.
And where is any documentation to back up any of those claims, or is that just an opinion at this time?
There is no documentation for anybody who wants to form a petitioners committee. 5 registered voters in Madison can come together and form a petitioners committee, create an affidavit to recall any elected official. They
So-
don't have to back their claims at all. It's their beliefs as registered voters.
So at this point, it's their opinion, and there has been nothing proved or disproved. It's their opinion that this is what the problems are.
That is what they have come to me saying.
Right, but they didn't
As
bring
a
any
clerk, I
proof or
can't-
anything on paper to you, it's just their opinions.
They brought 200 signatures from the town.
Okay, hold on. Say something, put your hand up.
So it's not just the petitioners committee either. Once the affidavit is formed, I release papers, which they go and get registered voters' signatures. And they have to get 10% of the amount of registered voters' signatures that participated in the last election, which was 195. And what I'm presenting to the board here today is saying that they did get that 10%, and therefore, once that process happens, as it's outlined in the statutes, there is going to be an election for a recall. And that's what I'm bringing to the board here today, because they need to set the date so that I can do my job as a clerk.
So when the board selects the date for this election, it's gonna be at a selectmen's meeting?
No, be at the polling place.
No, I mean, when you set the date for
Yes,
that.
it'll be July 8th.
And will the public have a chance to weigh in before the election itself?
Before, yes, if the sitting road commissioner wants to have a public hearing, he is within his rights to have that, and we'll have it right here.
Yeah.
And we're looking at maybe that, the end of August.
Yeah.
If it goes, if he does not want one, we will not have one.
Yeah, okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, yes, sir.
So it's just 10% of people that voted in the last election,
The last gubernatorial election.
the last gubernatorial election.
So what I do is I keep track of the number of voters that participate in each election. So when the affidavit was formed and before it was signed, I researched the number that it would need to be. So when they received their petition papers, I knew how many signatures that they needed to get in order for it to be sufficient.
So
Which is the
that's-
same process for every single petition that's brought to me.
So that's pretty much, everybody does that 10% usually?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
it
that's-
changes after every gubernatorial election. For this gubernatorial election that this petition is based off of was 195 signatures.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, moving on, appointments. Letter A, Town Manager and Welfare Director for July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025.
That would be me, if you so choose.
All right, looking for a motion to appoint Denise as Town Manager and Welfare Director.
I'll make a motion to appoint Denise Duchamp to town manager and welfare director.
All right, is there a second? Second. All right, we have a motion and a second for Denise Duchamp for Town Manager and Welfare Director for July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Letter B, Tax Collector for June 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025.
I would like to recommend Julie Rich continue in that role, and she has accepted.
All right, looking for a motion for Julie Rich.
I'll make a motion to appoint Julie Rich to tax collector for July 24 through June 25.
I have a motion and a second to appoint Julie Rich as Tax Collector for July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Letter C, Fire Chief Don French.
Don French has been elected by the firemen, and I recommend that he be allowed to continue as fire chief for the next fiscal year.
I'll make a motion to appoint fire chief, Don French to fire chief for July 24 through June 2025.
I have a motion and a second to appoint Don French as Fire Chief from July 2024 to June 2025. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor? Emergency Management Director, letter D, and E91 Addressing Officer for July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025.
I would like to recommend that we continue with Jeff Drew in that position, in those positions.
All right. Motion?
Make a motion to keep Jeff Drew as emergency management director and E911 addressing officer. July 1st, 24 to June 30th, 25.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to keep Jeff Drew as Emergency Management Director and E911 Addressing Officer for July 24 to June 25. Too many numbers in there. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Budget Advisory Committee.
I would like to recommend that Richard Bartlett, Randy Bliss, Richard Cormier, Patrick Dolan, Jack Duchamp, Peter Elias, Paul Fortin, Christy LeBlanc, Jeff Lloyd, Kenneth Moore, Robert Shibley, Bruce Tabarge, not done, Mary Tomlinson, Sean Young, and Robin Turek be approved to serve on the advisory board for the next fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to approve the list given by Denise, and that's 15, correct?
Yeah.
That's 15. You got
Who seconded?
Sally.
Thank you.
Any questions on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Letter F, the planning board.
I have Robin Turek and Elwin J. Watt Jr. For a 3-year term for,
Both are full members.
yes, as full members.
All right.
I'll make a motion for Robin Turk and Jay Watt for full members on the planning board from July 24 through June 2027 for 3 years.
I have a motion and a second to approve Elwin Watt Jr. and Robin Turk for a 3-year stint on the planning board. I was gonna say sentence, but sorry.
Sentence.
That's about right, right?
All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. And the last is the Board of Appeals.
I recommend that we continue with Andrew Ketterer on the Board of Appeals, again for a 3-year term.
I make a motion for Andrew Petterer on the appeals board for July 24 through June 2027 for a 3-year term.
All right,
Second.
we have a motion and a second to approve Andrew Ketterer on the Board of Appeals for July 24 to June 27. Any questions on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. And just so we get it out there, if anybody would like to be part of any board, please drop your name off at the town office. We have various vacancies along the way, and this is one of the days that we fill planning board, board of appeals, and recreation board if we have any. So if anybody has any interest, please get your name there.
And we do have some vacancies, especially on the Recreation Committee.
Okay?
Planning board has one.
One. Okay, so if anybody's interested in the planning board, you'll be right in the hot seat, so you'll start right off good. All right, number 4, voting for MMA Legislative Policy Committee member.
We are allowed to vote for 2, however, there's only one name that has been brought forth, and that's Richard LaBelle, Town Manager in Norwalk.
All right, so we need a motion to support Richard LaBelle.
And if you
Anybody?
have somebody else that you want to write in.
Anybody have any interest?
Don't look at me.
All right, so let's have a motion for Richard LaBelle, and we'll move forward.
I'll make a motion for Richard LaBelle on the legislative policy committee member. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to support Richard LaBelle, Town Manager of Norwalk, on the policy committee. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. And do we have any others that would like to join Richard LaBelle? No? All right, number 5, letter of support for the Madison ATV Club.
I have given you a draft of a letter that Jeff Ireland, who is the head guy of the Madison ATV Club, would like to have us send. I believe it would be sent to the state, Brian Bronson, in support of having the rail trail access granted that the voters approved at town meeting.
This is just taking what we voted on at town meeting and just saying that we approve this and we approved
We
it.
support.
We support it.
Yep.
All right, looking for a motion to send a letter of support
I'll make that a motion.
based upon town meeting.
I'll make that a motion based on.
Second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to send to the state a letter of support for the Madison ATV Club to get the portion of Main Street authorized for use as approved ATV access route based upon our town meeting vote. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor? Passes. All right, citizens' concerns. Mr. Royce.
Yes, I made a request at your last regular meeting, and I was asked to wait until the town meeting was over and come to the next meeting.
You
So
have-
here I am.
You're going to be on our agenda in July.
July
Oh,
8th.
in July?
July 8th.
Well, that's good, thank you.
Is that okay?
July 8th?
July 8th.
Okay, I can wait.
All right,
It's gonna take time anyway, so.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other citizens' concerns? Citizens' concerns? Seeing none, select board concerns. Mrs. Dwyer?
I'm good, thank you.
Mrs. Estes? Mr. Moody? Good. Mr. Bean?
I'm good.
All right, seeing none, all looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn, we have a second?
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. We are adjourned
At
at 7:30.